to present at Opening Convocation. I said, great, I would love to talk about fieldwork. And the reason why I want to talk about fieldwork is because many of my students say to me, when I graduate, I want to work in the field. And I get it. It's fun. You're outdoors, you're walking around, running around the mountains, collecting data, making observations, and trying to answer some small question about how nature works. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of some of the fieldwork that I do, and we'll see where it goes from there. This picture that you see here is from Spitsbergen. Spitsbergen is located north of Norway. The Arctic Circle is there outlined in the dashed line. If you want to get to Spitsbergen, go to Norway, head north, and you'll end up in Spitsbergen. It's the northernmost landmass. It's really a fantastic area to field. There's nothing around to bother you. No radio communications. There are whales, birds, no people. And you can really have the time to focus on what it is that you find of interest. For us, we were dropped there, left there for 10 weeks with extra food in case they couldn't pick us up at the end, and that was fieldwork. It's interesting, one of our many talented art faculty, Ken Leslie, has also gone up to Spitsbergen. He's gone up there in the wintertime when it's completely dark, and the only light that you see there is the light from a Russian settlement. I just heard my phone ring. I don't know if you heard that, I'm sorry about that. I want to make sure the sound is also working on the laptop here. Sorry about that phone ring. One of the things I like to do when I'm up there in Spitsbergen is I collect rocks and look at the minerals. And this is an example of a thin section. The scale bar that you see on the lower right is 0.2 millimeters. So it's really small. And the minerals that grow together tell us something about how these rocks form. Here's an example. In this example here, we see the mineral quartz, which is this ground mass mineral here. And in the presence of jadeite, which is this high relief mineral with the crosshatch pattern, a mineral called elbite forms. And you might think, oh boy, how exciting is that? Now, I think this is fantastic. And I got a paper published just on this one reaction. And indeed, the Smithsonian Institution said, we want to sample that. And the reason why is because this happens under really rare conditions. Let me explain those conditions to you. On this diagram, you see temperature increasing to the right, and pressure or depth of burial increasing as we go down. So we live on Earth's surface at about 20 degrees C. And water boils at about 100 degrees C. But volcanoes, also on the surface, are way off the chart here. They're about 1,400 degrees C. The rocks that form grow under conditions of elevated pressures and temperatures, and the reaction I just showed you occurs in this area we call blue schists. That is, they occur at very high pressure at relatively low temperature. The rocks are blue with big red garnets and silvery books of mica. I mean, it's just a fantastically beautiful rock to work with. In the Green Mountains of Vermont, the rocks here are green schist facies rocks. That is, the minerals are green, and hence the name the Green Mountains. Just moderate pressures and moderate temperatures, nothing really unusual. I also get to work up at Smuggler's Notch and work on rock falls up there. And when you ever go up there in the wintertime, you feel this sense of awe because there's no one else up there. You hear the wind, you hear rock falls, and it's just really impressive. And the only other people that you see up there are the guardians of the notch. I don't know if you've ever seen The Old Man and His Dog. It's not too far from Elephant's Head off of 108. But there's nothing else out there to bother you while you're in the field. I also work in landslides, and this one's out in Jefferson. And again, when you're out in the field, So,
It's on your phone, it's on your laptop. It's on your laptop.
thank you, Kevin. So, you know, these phones, I've noticed some of you sort of like the word already what I'm talking about. Phones, I don't have this problem with phones when I'm in the field. It gets a bit distracting. And I know some of you are distracted, really weren't paying much attention. And I don't blame you, because not all of you are into geology. So I'm going to change tracks here a little bit. And I want to show you a short video. This video takes place in a cinema in Hong Kong. Not that. But this is what I really want to talk about today. What I really want to talk about is cell phone use. I think cell phone use is either a very unhealthy obsession or it's an addiction. Yet, in either case, I consider it a psychoactive digital drug. And it's not just Facebook. A lot of the social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. It's amazing how much time we spend on our phones involved with social media. And as we do that, we're leaving a footprint on the internet for the future. And when you apply for jobs in the future, your employers will certainly look online to find out who you are. We do that all the time for our babysitters. And Snapchat has just introduced memories, which means if you think that if you post something on Snapchat, it won't come back to haunt you, it will. This idea is not new. In 1991, in an episode of Star Trek called The Game, the Star Trek crew became incapacitated from a virtual reality headset displaying psychoactive digital games. And you know, if it happens in Star Trek, it's going to become reality. And in this case, we call it augmented reality. The Oculus Rift allows you to step into these psychoactive digital games and basically avoid interpersonal communication. You've probably seen people walk down the hallways pretending that they're texting and reading their email, so they won't have to talk to you. Then you read the New Yorker, there's some really amazing cartoons in there. This one in 1993 said, on the internet, nobody knows you're a dummy. That was in 93. That was when the internet was in its infancy and most of you weren't even born. But turn the page to 2015 and another cartoon in the New Yorker says, remember, when on the internet, nobody knew who you were. Now we share all of these ideas, mostly positive, hopeful stories about who we are, to see if anybody's watching. When you think about it, this really unfortunate incident that happened in the Pulse nightclub this summer. The Orlando gunman was searching Facebook during the time that he was slaughtering people in the nightclub. I think we've got to do something about social media. There are lots of experiments and lots of research that's done on social media. This one by the Happiness Research Institute found that people who quit Facebook for 1 week reported feeling more satisfied with their life. That is, take a break for 1 week, they're happier and less worried. Maybe you should try it. Give an unlike to Facebook. It's easy. Go to help, delete, account. See what happens. 1 week, try it. Facebook does give you a grace period of 2 weeks to re-up all your data that's online, but try getting rid of it. If you haven't yet learned about Pavlov, you will if you take psychology courses. In 1904, he won the Nobel Prize for his work with classical conditioning theory. And basically what that is, it involves learning a new behavior or evoking an involuntary response by the process of association. And involuntary means you don't choose to do it, it just happens. Let me explain to you how this works if you're not familiar with it. Classically, it's done with dogs, but it's done for advertising and all over the place. Before conditioning, if you show a dog some food, the dog's going to salivate. Unconditional, involuntary response, the dog's going to be drooling. If you ring the bell, the dog doesn't care. So to condition the dog to respond to the bell, what we do, what Pavlov found, is that every time you give the dog some food, you ring the bell, the dog salivates. And then eventually all you have to do is ring the bell, the dog starts salivating, and you now condition that dog to have an involuntary response to a bell. It's just a bell. Let's say we replace the bell and the food with something else. Let's say maybe a cell phone with a bunch of apps. And you give the cell phone and a bunch of apps to a person and they start salivating. It's like, oh my God, this is the best thing that I've seen. Similarly, you get rid of the bell and replace it with something else. Maybe, I don't know, maybe another bell. And when we do that, you think that every time the bell rings that there's something really important like a plate of dog food on the other end and you really have to answer your phone, but maybe you don't. Maybe every time that phone rings, you don't have to answer it. Maybe it's okay to put the phone down. Now, I do believe that cell phone use is evolutionary. It's certainly addictive, and I can't see living without technology. Yet, I believe it's important that we build a sustainable digital diet for cell phones. And like any diet, it's a lifestyle choice. Speaking of diets, this is the typical college food diet. Notice we eat a lot of free food. Load up on carbs, fast food, probably too much alcohol, but not enough of well-balanced meals, not enough vegetables and healthy plants. What I mean by that is like Michael Pollan said, eat real food, eat mainly plants, not food made in plants. And cheat a little. Not only cheat on your exams and cheat on your homework, I mean cheat on your diet. It's okay to not be 100% of anything, but consider what a diet looks like. And if you're having problems with your diet, if you have allergies or food restrictions, talk to Sodexo Food Services here. They're receptive, they listen, they'll meet your nutritional needs. All you have to do is speak up. But also to stay healthy, not just eating well while you're in college, go out and get some exercise. Try to leave the phone behind. Because technology-facilitated social isolation can be overcome. This is not the way we should be communicating with each other, texting when we're standing next to each other. But if you don't want to go outside, go inside. Go to the shape facility. Go swimming. Lift some weights. Do some exercise. It's a fantastic facility on campus. But put your phone down and be present. And be part of whatever activity involved. Look at this poor kid playing with his cell phone. If it wasn't for his father, this kid would not be sitting up today. When I say be part of an activity, I mean join a club, create a club, get involved in student government. There are lots of things that you can do. But mostly unitask. That's the opposite of multitasking. It's been shown time and time again that multitasking doesn't work. You say, I'm a good multitasker. I would say, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Focus on one thing. Spend some time and energy and work hard at it. There are lots of papers published about cell phone use. This one in the Journal of Computers and Human Behavior. said that individuals who are distracted by cell phones report negative impacts on relationship satisfaction and increased depression. They came up with the term partner falling. I don't know if you've experienced this. It's the act of snubbing someone in a social setting by looking at one's phone instead of paying attention. You talk to someone, the phone rings, and all of a sudden, we have to chop it. It's also disrespectful to do that in a classroom when the faculty member is speaking and your phone rings, I'm just going to check my phone. In this Journal of Communication Education, there was a paper about the impact of mobile phone use on student learning. And what they found is that students who were not using their mobile phones wrote down more information, took more detailed notes, recalled more detail from the lecture, and scored a full letter and a grade and a half higher on tests than those students who were actively using their mobile phones. That's not enough. In the International Journal of Educational Research, a paper about reading text on screen versus on paper, they found that their main findings showed that students who read text in print scored significantly better on reading comprehension tests than students who read text digitally. So, go to the library, talk to the librarians, read a book, flip through the journal articles, read a newspaper. The librarians are there to help you with your research projects and your school and any projects that you have. Talk to them, they really would love to see you. In the Journal from the American Psychological Science, they report about the use of laptop for note-taking results in shallower understanding because of the tendency to transcribe lectures verbatim rather than processing the information and reframing it in your own words. I think the key message here is bring a pen to class. It's surprising how many pens I hand out to students in class. Bring some paper, bring a pen, bring your laptop, but don't forget a pen. And if you're having problems in class, talk to the faculty members and the staff that are supporting your classes, because they'll help you understand it. They'll give you a pen if you need it. And also, numerous grammatical mistakes are not noticed when editing on screen. So, print the document and edit it on paper. And if you're still having trouble, talk to academic support services. There are peer coaches, professional coaches, they can help with writing skills and note-taking skills. They want to see you, they want to help you. Don't be shy, talk to academic support services. Now, if you don't believe this, try this. Who's got it? 20. Notice that? Now, just a couple more ideas. Those who check social media most frequently were 3 times as likely to experience disturbed sleep than those who check least frequently. Now, I'm not suggesting that cell phones are all of the problems we have in life. They're not. We have much bigger issues to deal with. If you're having problems with sleeping, it might not be yourself. You might want to go to the health center. I mean, if you're not feeling good, don't be shy. Talk to the nurses, get some help. Faculty members will help you find the right people to talk to. Mark Lewis said that addiction is a behavioral problem that requires willpower and motivation to change. Some of the early warning signs of cell phone addiction is constantly checking your phone for no reason, avoiding social interaction to spend time on the phone, feeling anxious at the thought of being without your phone, waking up in the middle of the night to check your phone, maybe a decline in academics as the result of phone activity, and easily distracted by email, text, phones. If you feel you're have this addiction, or any other problem that you want to work with someone, go see the people at the Counseling Center at Johnson. They're trained professional staff who want to work with you and help you work through whatever problems you have. Again, don't be shy. Ask a faculty member to walk you over there if you want, but we're here to work with you. This is a picture of Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. They're both pictured here. first individuals to set foot on. He also said that the power of luck and persistence, any goal is attainable. And if you did a little research into their moon landing, their Apollo guidance computer system had 64 kilobytes of memory, operating at 43 kilohertz. That's about what we have in the inexpensive toaster oven today. Your phone has 500,000 times the amount of memory, 32 gigabytes, and operates at about 50,000 times faster than the toaster oven that landed these guys on the moon. Just imagine what you can do with a cell phone, a little bit of luck, some persistence, and the support of all of us at the college. So I'll leave you with this thought. Focus on the topic under discussion and the people in your presence. And put your cell phone away. You're in a fantastic place. The Serenity of this mountaintop college is beautiful right now in the Dibden Center for the Performing Arts. There are numerous buildings on campus, hiking trails, streams, lakes, people, places to explore. Take advantage of that. But I recommend that you get your work done first, then go play. And most of all, stay safe. Good luck this semester. Stop me in the dining hall, tell me a story, and I look forward to meeting you. Thank you very much.